So you may be asking yourself, why did I, Jason McLeod of the podcast for Screen and Country that you all know and love, why did I pick for these fellas the movie Skyscraper from 1996? Well, to be fair, let's all be real here, I haven't actually seen it, but I'm really good at Wikipedia. So I went on Wikipedia and I was looking at direct-to-video movies, and that one jumped out at me because, number one, okay, right off the bat, it's basically Die Hard. So that's fun right out of the gate. But it's basically Die Hard starring Anna Nicole Smith. So you know this is a quality picture. And then among the supporting cast, we got a guy who's from soap operas. We got a guy who's like a fucking MMA fighter. And we got a dude who's actually like a theatrical actor who's like the serious actor. So this and the cast itself, I want to see the movie about Skyscraper actually more than anything. But I felt it appropriate to subject these two dumb fucks to this movie. I'm sorry, I'm really mean to them. I don't mean to be so mean. They're my friends, but they brought this on themselves, so I have no sympathy. So good luck, fellas. Enjoy 1996's Skyscraper, starring Anna Nicole Smith.
You know when I pick a movie, that's when I'm under pressure now. The question always comes back to me, what were they thinking now? Whoa, what were they thinking? What were they thinking?
Wow, thanks.
And you know, this is why, Brendan, this is why I tell you not to let the internet tell us what to do, because people who say they're your friends give you things like this, like Silent Hill, like Muck, like Postal.
Wait, are you saying dumb fuck isn't like a nice affectation?
Is not a term of endearment.
Son of a bitch, I'm gonna message him right now. Jason, you
furiously typing and masturbating
suck.
at the same time.
Shit, wait, what?
Nothing.
Oh, okay. I'm Brendan.
I'm Nathan.
And this is What Were They Thinking?
Mm-hmm.
A podcast about bad to questionable movies, but it is a very special time of year, Nathan.
It's the most loathsome time of the year.
Where we don't pick movies, but others pick movies.
And they say they like us. But if you see the movies they'd pick, you'd say otherwise.
Wow, that really went off the rails there.
I don't got time for that kind of. I don't have energy for that sort of thing.
That was last week. We gotta we don't do that shit every week. You guys gotta pay us extra. Become a patron. We'll sing for you all the time. We'll be like Homer Simpson in that episode where he's like dancing for quarters.
Oh, dancing away my hunger pain, moving my feet so my stomach won't hurt. I'm kinda like Jesus, but not in a sacrilegious way.
Oh no, I just got an email from Matt Groening. delete. Yeah, we're talking about our first pick from our good friend Jason, who's been on the show several times.
We're gonna have to re-examine that moniker.
Hosts another podcast with me on the side. He's my side hoe. He's given us the 1996 film Skyscraper.
Yeah.
Not the 2000,
not the good one.
2000. Well, I mean, I guess.
It is the usual suspects in comparison to this movie.
Oh, I'll give you that. I will give you that. In comparison, sure.
So, if we're talking about a movie called Skyscraper, and I say the good one, you know I mean the one with Rock the Dwayne Johnson.
I wanted to see more Nev Campbell kicking ass, I'm just saying.
Yes.
But we're not talking about that Skyscraper. We're talking about the Skyscraper film starring master thespian Anna Nicole Smith. 1996, the height of her powers. And what does she use those powers for? Starring in direct-to-video B-movie greatness. Budget for this movie? Who knows? Box office? NA. Let's dive in.
Okay.
Because we start off with a theme song that sounds like something that you might hear when you achieve like a level. When you finish off like a level in Golden Axe.
Okay.
And I think this plays like throughout the movie several times. It's the same like generic backing track.
Mm-hmm.
We get about 25 minutes of a helicopter flying over the city.
Helescort.
A helescort, yeah.
Which I figured that means she's part helicopter, part escort, which would definitely play into the whole thing.
That's honestly what I thought the plot was, and I was like, well, that's interesting.
You know, here's the thing. If they made a movie about an escort service where all the escorts are also trained helicopter pilots, you've got me. I am intrigued about the world that something like that exists in.
I'm sure Andy Sedaris has made something close to that.
Probably.
But Anna Nicole Smith. The plot. I'll run down the plot real quick. This is Die Hard. With
Die
Anna Nicole
Hard.
Smith.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. Got it. So Anna Nicole Smith is flying her helicopter all around. Apparently, she's like sort of like a taxi service, but with a helicopter.
Yeah.
Which I think was interesting. It's almost like they wrote her as a taxi driver, and then they were like, you know what would be more exciting? Helicopters.
Yeah, how else is she going to get into the skyscraper?
Anna Nicole Smith is also an associate producer on this, which is why I'm guessing she had her son cast in the movie Vanity Project.
Everything she did was a vanity project.
I don't want to get too... Yeah, she had a very troubled life, as did her son. So I'm not gonna personal attack them too much, but yeah, it's not a
she's not the only thing that's terrible or person that's terrible in this movie. I mean, let's talk about the score, as you totally mentioned before. It was done by a fellow by the name of Jim Halfpenny, who really should change his name to Jim All Sucks. Because he does not half suck. He all sucks. The score to this thing is just, it is it sounds like if you were just getting into making like videos and you needed either royalty-free stock music that you could get off the internet, that's what this sounds like.
Oh, it sounds like the director of this movie and Neil Breen both shop at the same music store.
Probably.
But she flies around the city for what seems like forever. And before she goes home for the night, she calls up her boss, who I guess is sort of like a hybrid of Bob Uecker and Buck Henry.
I guess.
It's like
keeps telling her to keep her shirt on, which nobody has ever done to Anna Nicole Smith.
Yeah, keep your shirt on. What business do you think you're in, kid?
Yeah.
And we get the first real 1996 moment of the movie because she says, "Hey, I'm going home. Just beat me on my pager." Lots of pager work in this, but cell phones too. It was almost like that fine like transition period.
That's exactly what it was. You said it was 96.
Yeah,
that is just as things were leaping over that line.
It was a wonderful time in America.
If you want a good example of that time and how things were, watch a fun little show called Undergrads.
Oh, I thought you were going to suggest the classic film Hackers.
Well, you can go with that too, but if you want to have a fun time, watch Undergrads.
Wait, what's not fun about the internet being represented by a giant room?
Yeah, and Fisher Stevens skateboarding everywhere to help Penn Jillette as a security guard who looks at the internet, I guess. Let's not talk about. We can talk about that another day.
It will happen, I'm sure.
I'm absolutely sure it will happen. Yes.
But yeah, so she is driving around these two dudes in suits, and they look pretty sketchy. And of course, because they're two dudes in suits, and one of them even says like, "Move it! I'm running late. Let's make it quick." And I'm like, "She's in a helicopter, dude. Like, how much quicker do you want?"
Yeah, as the crow flies is pretty much the fastest you can go.
And again, just going on and on, like lots of flying footage for a long time.
Yeah, you pay for the helicopter footage, you're going to use the helicopter footage.
Well, so much so that I think they paid for even the footage that they didn't think they would have used, because at one point there's a shot of the helicopter and it's clearly from another helicopter that quickly adjusts itself so that you don't see the edge of the screen anymore. So, you do what you got. You do what you can with what you got.
I suppose.
A bunch of these businessmen meet in an alley, and they're making some sort of briefcase deal, as they do.
I figured it was for the new ColecoVision, because that's what it looked like to me.
Were you saying it wasn't realistic?
It was either the new ColecoVision or the new Intellivision. Either way, my friend Ben is going to be super stoked about it.
Well, you're probably right, because they do say that it will affect the balance of power on the planet.
Right, gonna knock Nintendo down a peg or two.
Yeah. Put them in their place. The deal is interrupted by what else, of course?
Stevie Richards attacks.
Wait, what?
Didn't you? One of the henchmen looked like Stevie Richards.
Oh, maybe. I just wrote down that this meeting was interrupted with a rocket launcher.
There was a rocket attack. So they box the guys in. There's a dude with a rocket launcher and apparently the same book bag that Nico carries in Grand Theft Auto 4, because it is just packed to the brim with rockets that he can just keep shooting them even after he's shot like at least 10.
And amazingly, every time he shoots the rocket, he looks and stands the exact same way with the exact same shot each time.
Funny that. Another thing is at the other end of the alleyway where this whole, sordid business affair is going on, a truck is pulled up and they have unfurled a ramp with what looks to be like also a catwalk, because it's not just a straight ramp down, it's like down and then to a level and then another one down, and that's where Stevie Richards and his friends are. They come out and they pin the guys in and mayhem ensues.
Out of the giant Bud Dry truck.
Yes, that's the one.
Which I'm like, did they really pay for a spot in this?
It's a possibility. I mean, it was made for TV. Was it Showtime or something like that?
I don't even know if it was still on TV. I think it was just straight to VHS or DVD or whatever.
Oh, okay. Well, there's a possibility that they. I mean, if they used it in there, they probably had to get some sort of permission.
So this is where we're introduced to a running theme in the movie where people fire guns directly at other people and miss like every single time.
Yes, and that's what happens when you hire Stevie Richards, low-rent Steve Buscemi, and low-rent Linda Hamilton.
Yeah, you get what you pay for.
You pay low rent, you get low rent.
That's right. And then we meet the head baddie. His name is Fairfax.
And apparently he's classically trained.
Oh, my God.
Been to all the theater schools.
So he in IRL is a German politician.
Oh, wow. Skyscraper, you've won the year. You've won the year.
He likes to quote Shakespeare.
He sure does.
Anyway, all these businessmen get lit the fuck up except like one of them who manages to escape. He backs his car out through the Bud Dry truck and runs off with a briefcase. The briefcase containing the ColecoVision, as Nathan said.
ColecoVision, yep.
Yeah. He manages to escape to the roof, but he's stopped by Fairfax, who takes a real risk because he wants that briefcase, and the guy is like threatening to basically jump to his death.
Yeah.
And Fairfax is just like, I'm sure it'll land on the roof. He shoots him, the guy falls, and thankfully throws the briefcase as he's falling onto the roof.
He shot the shackle off the guy's hand.
Oh.
I caught that because I was like, the guy had it handcuffed to him. So, and that's what I said, if you jump, this is coming with me and it'll be destroyed. You won't get it. So when he's shooting the last business guy, he shoots him in the chest, shoots off the shackle, which makes him throw the briefcase, thankfully, onto the roof so this movie can continue and we'll have an episode. And then he falls to his death.
He falls to his death, which is another theme in this movie.
Well, Skyscraper.
Yes.
It'd be really dumb if everybody drowned.
It's at this point where this film turns into a softcore porn.
Oh my God. Here's a fun story. I'm gonna give you this one here. Fun story. When I first started watching
a story
this,
that's fun.
It's a fun story. When I first started watching this, Cheyenne came into the room, and she's like, asked why I was watching it. I just started watching it, so this is the 2 years of helicopter footage that we get at the first.
Yeah.
She says, "What are you watching?" I said, "I'm watching Skyscraper." Oh, she said that where they're in the building and they're trying to get the family out and the rock's there. I'm like, no, sweetheart, not the good one. And she promptly left because she understood, this movie's gonna suck some hard by the looks of it. Meanwhile, in the dining room, which is adjacent to my living room, unbeknownst to me, my oldest one is just kind of watching the movie. Didn't know she was there until the softcore porno scene started. Good stuff. Now I always pipe it in about me, showing my kid inappropriate things. Yes, my youngest one, dear. We're recording here. I saw worse when I was way younger than her, okay?
But yes, softcore porn.
Right.
Because Anna Nicole Smith is just taking a shower, and then seemingly you think that someone is coming in to assault her.
Okay.
Well, that's how they frame it, because he's like
a little
sneaking
bit, yeah.
in. You have the camera doing that like Michael Myers first-person POV shot.
Okay, and there's all kinds of things. She lit a bunch of candles, even candles around her tub, so she could get in and get a shower?
Yeah. Maybe she changed her mind at the last second.
Yeah, okay.
Also, there's a Marilyn Monroe painting, which I have to say, go fuck yourself, movie.
That was probably her. She was a super fan of old Marilyn.
Well, that's fine, I guess.
Which stands to reason, considering her whole image, right?
I do think it's weird. This is like a running theme. Especially the small screen movies we've talked about. Why do they always want to remind us about better movies? Like,
I don't know.
A talking cat couldn't shut up about Humphrey Bogart. This movie is reminding us about Die Hard and Marilyn Monroe. And, like, it's just like, do you want us to compare? Like, what are you doing?
There was even one point when later on we get into the heavier action and somebody, falls from the skyscraper because, skyscraper. I was waiting for one of the police officers to say, "Oh, tell me that wasn't a hostage."
I was surprised it didn't happen, to be honest with you.
Yeah, right. Yes, but no, the person entering her... the person entering her room, I didn't finish my note there, is her boyfriend. And we find out he's a detective. He gets into the shower with her, gets behind her, and says, "Spread 'em."
Yeah.
Kind of know where that's going.
Well,
at least they're in the shower.
It goes into the bedroom shortly after that.
After they've done it in the shower.
After they've done it in the shower, to the most ridiculous love ballad.
Gliding down an interstate with some visionary, or flying in the night sky over some tributary. Your touch can take me to the moon, but hold on now, baby, not too soon.
It's at this point we have the character arc for Anna Nicole Smith is that she wants to have a kid.
Oh man, this whole thing, I don't know. It felt really tacked on.
Just a tad.
So much so that like the stuff that happens at the end, I was figuring they were going to take a that's not how adoption works left-hand turn, but they didn't. Thankfully.
Again, surprised they didn't. Very surprised. Well, she has the great line, "Well, excuse me for believing in Sunday walks in the park and little babies.
I want a baby." Like, God bless her, sweetheart. She cannot act.
Oh, her delivery is unfathomable.
Yeah.
It sounds like, I mean, I don't want to sound like, whatever, but it sounds like she may have been intoxicated throughout like this whole shoot.
I'm not going to say that because, I mean, this was maybe just at the, would you say this was at the peak maybe the peak, maybe just as she was getting at the peak of her B-list celebrity on. This is definitely before her reality show.
It just sounds like everything's really slurred.
To me, everything just sounded really stilted and forced because I don't. Again, I'm sure she was a sweet lady, but she can't, like, the acting, even anything that she tried to do in this movie, it felt like she was reading it off a page.
Yeah.
Like for the second or first time.
And she's like, even the worst actors, like, she always seems like she doesn't know what to do with her, like, body language. Yeah. Like, that's a big thing that you notice. Whenever you can notice that, you're dealing with someone who is, like, way out of the comfort zone.
Yeah. And this is all discovered because her and her boyfriend or that's her husband, isn't it?
It is her husband, which I was like, oh, they're married. Okay.
Yeah. But she wants to have a baby, but he's married to his job and he loves shootouts.
Oh, and it's literally, she says the line, "You're married to your job."
Yes.
Not even like, it's the opposite of subtle. He says, "Oh, my car," after they have their little argument, because he's like, you see with all this shit I deal with every day, it's a fucking war zone down there to hell, or whatever the fuck he says.
That's about right.
Yeah, and then he says, like, "Oh, I need a lift to work." And she takes him in a helicopter, and he, like, complains about her driving or whatever. I'm like, couldn't he have just taken, like, a cab?
Right? But no, he wants her to fly him, and so because she won't give him a baby, she decides, you know what, I don't need my helicopter's pilot's license to keep my job, so I'm gonna fly recklessly throughout the downtown Los Angeles core.
And he's like, I'm lucky you don't make love like you fly. What?
Sounds like it'd be reckless. So, I mean, yeah.
So, there you go. They use protection. Yeah, so she basically takes him to work, and then I think this is where she finds out that she has to go pick up some customers.
At Zidex.
At Zidex, yeah.
I know they keep saying Zytex, but it looks like Zitex, and it's like, when acne control takes over.
It's a huge corporation dealing with that. There's a lot of things to be done there at Zidex.
It also made me think that it was like maybe like an exterminator's van that you would see at on the opening of Bob's Burgers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The bad guys, I guess, or the terrorists, or whatever you want to call them. A bunch of them show up to kill some security guards. One of them,
everybody was kung fu fighting.
Yes, the one Asian security guard knows kung fu and has a little fight with one of the other guys. But unfortunately, he is punched in the back.
Yeah, it's too bad because it was one of the few spots in the movie where the fight choreography was kind of believable.
I feel like it's because those two were like, "Hey, we can have a real fight if you want to shoot this."
And they're like, might as well. She's sleeping it off in the trailer.
We don't have Anna for another 10 minutes, and then we got her for 5, so might as well do it now. We then cut to Gordy, of course, Anna Nicole Smith. Anna's husband.
His name's Gordy, but this does not take place in Canada. The most unbelievable prospect of this entire movie.
His partner is so fucking hilarious, by the way, that I'm ready yesterday for him to die.
A good goat'll do that.
This is like his stupid hick joke that he's making. I don't even know.
I think the joke was on the judge and knowing that a good goat will turn around and lick your balls after you have sex with it.
Yeah, it was
because that was the joke.
Solid A material.
Yeah. We cut to her flying. What's his name again? Fairfax?
Yeah, and I just know the other guy's name was Tech Batty. I didn't know his name.
So she's flying him, and he makes a Henry IV joke. Or not reference, not a joke, but a reference. He quotes the play, and she says verbatim what scene it is. And I'm like, yeah, right, movie.
Most non-believable part of this movie.
Between that and her husband being named Gordy and this not being set in Canada, the two most unbelievable things happen back to back.
He tells her to take him and Tech Guy to this other building. Mm-hmm. Gordy, meanwhile, gets to the building where the security guys were getting offed and manages to cuff one of the guys, or cuff one of the bad guys. However, you know, it always happens in these movies. You turn your back and your partner is killed by a rocket.
Yeah, but here's the problem with that. I don't know if he's terrible at being a cop, or maybe he just wanted to end it all because he has time to look up and see the guy getting ready to fire the rocket. He gets time to see the rocket fired, and he only just kind of crouches down behind the door a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
he doesn't leap out of the way.
It's
crouches down a little bit, and then we're led to believe that he like got back in the car.
I think his strategy, Nathan, if I can defend him,
his
strategy is from those 1950s instructional videos about nuclear war.
Duck and cover.
That's right.
Duck and cover.
He took those to heart, and you know, I applaud him for his efforts, but unfortunately, he was killed via rocket attack.
Yeah.
So yeah, Gordy's partner's dead, and Gordy has a hilarious freak out.
Well, like I said, he's trying to get him out of the car. I was like, when did he get back in the car?
He does. I think he's on fire, and I do remember him like getting into the car, and I was like, what the shit? Also, they wasted like a stuntman being set on fire for this movie.
Yeah. And I get that. If normally when you see something like that in a movie, it's like, oh, they're about to up the stakes because he's going to avenge his partner. Gordy is not the hero.
No, he's not supposed to be.
No, he's not.
I would have thought that maybe Gordy would die.
And his like, I don't know, vengeance code isn't even brought up again later.
Nope. I figured like Gordy was going to be the one that died and Anna Nicole Smith was going to get vengeance.
Well, I mean, that could have possibly happened, but like I said, they introduce a kid later, and I'm just like, oh, okay, they're going to make that, you know, terrible thing where, you know, they look after the boy after this all said and done because that's how adoption works.
The boy? Oh, shit, it turns out to be Brahms?
Yes. And then they hire Lauren Cohen to look after him because they have to go walk off into the ocean.
I knew this movie was important.
Yeah. So all connected: Skyscraper, Silent Hill, and The Boy Universe.
Oh God, what a horrifying idea. So Fairfax and Tech Guy arrive at a restaurant / brothel.
I guess so, because doesn't he offers, would you like to sample some of my delicacies? I'm like, he just offered him to like have sex with her or eat her.
Well, that would have been a great twist.
Yeah,
he turns into ravenous all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But he does, yeah, he offers, and at first I was like, did he just like find two women that happened to be dining at that restaurant? And he's like, hey, you want to fuck these two ladies? And they're like, wait, what? Because they don't look like they're there for that. Like, they look pretty conservatively dressed and everything.
Yeah. But I'm guessing they're DTF because they just when he mentions the prospect of this German politician having his way with them.
Yeah, they're clearly they're all business though. These two villains, they need another piece of this bomb puzzle because apparently it needs four. It's not important. I have
a note here is like the Fairfax. He must be from the same country where Tommy Wiseau is from.
Oh yeah, he did sound like him a little bit.
Yeah, just the way he delivered his lines.
Oh, can't wait to find out where that is. By the way, Room Full of Spoons coming soon.
Okay,
not to our podcast, but to the world.
Yeah. Apparently, people need Delta 4 clearance, and it's like there's all kinds of buzzwordy type things that get said in this movie that make no sense at all and are just said to kind of sound cool.
It's just words, yeah. I think Gordy at this point is interrogating the dude he did manage to arrest earlier, who that guy, by the way, has an amazing accent.
Yes.
And says something about like, yeah, well, your pussy partner couldn't do anything about it. And Gordy's like, I'm going to shove your balls down your throat, have you pissing dicks or whatever the fuck he says.
That's just as believable, even though that might not be a direct quote.
Yeah, there's a lot of like ridiculous, like supposed to be badass lines.
Yeah.
And this is what you talked about, because he says, like, I'm going to avenge his death. And then, again, it's never brought up again in the movie.
This is, I think, maybe one more time after this, and it's shortly after this. And then after that, nobody even talks about his Gordy's partner being a good cop.
That's right.
He didn't deserve to go out like that.
But going back to Fairfax and the tech guy,
Fairfax just double crosses anybody. Like, everything he does is a double cross, and it's funny because he makes a quote later in the movie about how terrible it is when thieves can't trust each other. I'm like, dude, you shoot everybody you get into bed with.
Every single person.
Because he even shoots this guy through a window, and the guy has enough. There's enough force behind the bullet for him to stumble backwards out through the patio and then over the railing.
And he does like 3 flips as he's falling.
Yeah.
But yeah, he kills the restaurant dude after he gets that piece of the bomb. And I wrote down, like, also, are these guys trying to get caught? Like, everything they do is so grand.
There's no subtlety to it at all.
No.
Which that plays into a big thing later in the movie too.
Well, meanwhile, we get the guy that was taken in by the police, the guy with the great accent. He gets executed because some girl sneaks into the interrogation room and just shoots him in cold blood.
I believe was that low rent Linda Hamilton?
Yeah, I believe she was also rocket launcher.
Okay, was she? I thought she was in this. No, I thought she was in the truck with Stevie Richards and low rent Steve Buscemi.
Oh, maybe she had a rocket later. I'm not sure.
Oh, that's a possibility.
Yeah. We meet the star of the film, a cop named Dudley Wright.
Yes, Dudley Wright.
Yeah.
Who was introduced to us by a guy who I thought was Jamaican, but I think later in the movie has no discernible accent. They did a real Kofi Kingston on us here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, his ADR when he arrives, it sounds like a different person.
Yeah, because he's singing like some Rasta ska. And then he's like, Dudley Wright, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police.
Oh, you're talking about the janitor guy that talks to him?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, that scene. So that the gentleman, the janitor is African American.
Yes.
And he walks up to Dudley, who is like a dorky cop or dorky security guard.
Yep.
And he makes some he's like mocking him and stuff. And then when he turns his back, Dudley like points his gun and pretends to act all tough. And I'm like, oh, he's pointing his gun. He's pointing his gun at a black guy when his back is turned. He'll fit in with the LA police.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's not in the force at that point.
Right?
Yeah. So, okay. So this guy is Dudley Wright. Would this be like an in-universe sequel to the Brendan Fraser movie?
I hope not.
Because, I mean, if that's the case, not only is this movie and Dudley Wright and what was the other one we mentioned?
Silent Hill.
Silent Hill are all part of the Boyniverse, which is not as fun as the Conjuring verse. But still, I mean, you got to start somewhere, right?
But at least it doesn't have the Nun or the Curse of La Llorona.
I suppose, yeah. That's definitely 2 things that this has going for it.
Or the first Annabelle.
Yeah. Although, of the 3, that is the least of the sins.
Sure. I'll give you that. So, meanwhile,
we get to meet knockoff Steve Guttenberg.
Which guy is this now?
Is the dude who has this weird like sea story that he's siphoning money out from the from Zidex.
Yeah. So this guy, the guy just shows up to the building and he's like pretending to do like tech support or whatever.
Yeah. And
yeah, he's siphoning out money. And at first, I thought he was just one of the terrorist dudes.
Right, because all the stuff that he's doing, it makes it look like he's like the inside man for Fairfax.
He's like that guy in Die Hard. I forget the character's name, but he's like, Hans, Bubby, I can help you out.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about.
The actor's like Hart Bachner, is that his name?
Yeah. Lewis or something.
Yeah. He's like the Lewis of
Tell him you don't know me. God damn it, tell him you don't know me.
God damn it, Lewis, you stupid son of a bitch.
Hans, Bubby, this is radio, not television. Put the gun away.
Oh, remember Die Hard?
I might watch that later.
So yeah, Anna is driving riding her helicopter with the guys to their next location. And she comes into the building because she can't get a hold of her boss on the radio.
His name was Ellis.
Ellis from Die Hard, yes.
And her boss's name is Chauncey.
It sure is.
Okay, so we've got Chauncey and Dudley Wright. I think this is actually this movie is not in the Boyniverse. It is actually it is like a stealth prequel to the Rocky and Bullwinkle live action movie.
Oh God, coming soon. Yeah, so she goes up to that dude who's like siphoning money, and she's like, "Oh, are you Charlie Drake? Because that's the name tag there, and you don't look suspicious at all. Can I use your phone?" And he's like, just don't use the one in this room."
And maybe fix that giant clump of stranding hair falling down in front of your face.
Yeah, who the fuck does she think she is? Michelle Rodriguez?
Right?
Come on, Anna. Come on.
But you're better than this.
What are you saying?
Yeah. It's fun to note that one of the henchmen that is with Fairfax really wishes he was Carl from Die Hard.
Oh, is it the dude with like the V-neck shirt?
Yeah, I think so.
The long brown hair or whatever.
Well, the Stevie Richards looking guy, I think.
Yeah. So the villains, the terrorists or whatever, they force all the employees into this room, all their hostages.
Yep.
And then we get the next part of the machine, this bomb machine thing arriving in the hands of an old dude with a couple of armed guards. Mm-hmm. The old guy has a great line where when he meets Fairfax, he said, "Well, I figured if I'm going to sell my soul to the devil, I might as well go straight to the devil himself." And I'm like, of course you would. Why? Who wants to deal with, like, would you really want to go through like a couple of hellhounds? Like, bureaucracy is terrible.
No one wants to deal with the middlemen of Hades. Management. No.
I mean, you got to fill out your T1000. That doesn't work. Your T49s and your C72s, like
not to mention your D666s. And if you don't fill those out in triplicate, your applications for anything that you want to get done is going to be backed up for months.
Ugh, like, what is this? What world are we living in? Brazil?
Hell is bureaucracy. That's really, and I think Terry Gilliam had it right.
That's right. He did.
Yeah.
It's a great movie. Much better than this movie.
Although, just about as confusing.
On first viewing, I will give you that.
Yeah. I did like that all of the, I don't know if it was supposed to be like bunker settings or like the tech command center settings for the Skyscraper. It's a high rise at best. All look like they were taken straight out of Deep 13. It looks like Gizmonic Institutes.
Oh, the sets are terrible.
Yeah.
The sets are so bad. And at least, in Mystery Science Theater, they're supposed to look bad. Like, they're supposed to look low rent. In this movie, they are just bad.
Yeah.
But the old guy gives up the machine. Well, he gives him the machine, and then Fairfax is like, quotes some Shakespeare. And he's like, you still quoting that Shakespeare crap?
Yeah.
And a ridiculous gunfight breaks out where, again, people are shooting. Like, this is like Stormtrooper advanced level missing.
And this is where we get to see the bulk of Fairfax's goons. And they look like the musical group Right Said Fred started up a terrorist organization. Just tight leather with no sleeves, slicked back hair, and those little round sunglasses.
Terrifying.
The
old guy's guards get capped, and the old guy just gets shot in the gut.
Yep.
So he manages to get away, and he runs into Anna Nicole Smith, and he's like, "Take this briefcase and run." And she's like, "Okay."
And he just, she's taking off, apparently across the longest building rooftop ever, not being able to get to her helicopter, he just kind of takes a gun out and starts randomly firing down the stairs.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you at least wait until the one or two were in your sights so you could at least take a pot shot at one or two of them?
You know what? He ain't got time to bleed. He's just got to shoot.
Oh, he is no Jesse Ventura.
I watched Superstars in the 90s. I've seen WrestleMania 6. And you, my friend, are no Jesse Ventura.
There you go.
Yeah, but they do. Fairfax does manage to come up, and he sees the old dude. The old dude is like dying basically from his gunshot wound. Says, "Fuck you." To which Fairfax says, "Later, maybe." What?
So like I'm guessing, is it Fairfax? Is he bi? Is he gay? Because he's open to the prospect of possibly later having sexual relations with this dying businessman.
Well, I mean, not only that, but like, is he a necrophiliac?
Well, yeah, that's a possibility too.
Because I mean, he says later and then shoots him.
So now you're ready for it. Your body is ready.
Yeah, boys, keep him warm.
Yeah, or cold, because I mean, you know,
whatever I prefer at the time. You guys have to keep up with my preferences at all times. That's why I pay you for.
Now let me quote some Shakespeare about how nailing dead people is perfectly fine.
I'm sure there's a line there somewhere.
Oh, most definitely. Probably like in Hamlet or something.
I doth lay down this man bereft of mortality.
He has shuffled off his mortal coil, and I will shuffle in my mortal coil.
Ah. Sold. William, you old horn dog. Anna runs off with the briefcase and jumps into one of those like window cleaner things.
Well, no, at first we think she just takes a leap off the building.
Yeah.
So, and I was like, "Oh, sweet, short movie." And no, she jumped into a window washer's like a
holder thing,
bucket.
Yeah.
Scaffolding. There you go. Scaffolding. Motorized scaffolding.
To which one of the bad guys tries shooting at her and misses wildly, of course.
Oh, he's terrible. And she starts lowering herself down in like the safety harness, and only gets down so far that as far as the safety harness will let her go, and then they just shamelessly start dieharding it.
Oh, and before the diehard moment comes, she's swinging by that cord for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But
and like she's trying to like get out around the building. It's like it's one of the few smart things that actually gets done in this movie. She's not staying directly under his line of fire. She's trying to get around the side of the building so she can break a window and get in.
Yeah, and she breaks the window, and like you said, it's the exact scene from Die Hard because
just as she breaks in, he blows up or knocks off the part of the scaffolding safety harness that's holding her up, and it falls down just like the fire hose reel did in Die Hard.
Yeah, less drama though because she takes it off pretty easily.
Yeah.
It's
it's Anna Nicole Smith. That's what she's known for.
Oh, what?
There we go. Playboy reference.
Meanwhile, I don't really understand this part, but there's a dude that shows up and starts like beating the shit out of people on the roof.
Then we meet Billy Ray, not Cyrus,
that's played by Anna Nicole Smith's real son.
Yeah, and it was at this point in the movie that I hoped that he was just going to shining the bad guys to death.
Right, because he has that little tricycle.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, what a great twist that would have been.
Yeah.
But yeah, so well, let's just talk about that then, because that kid is like driving around. Well, this other blonde lady is like, "Billy Ray, be careful," which I guess she just
I will, Mama.
Has him driving around the office. Sure.
Is it a Saturday? Like, I see my only explanation is that it must be a Saturday because I can't think of a single cubicle building that would let you just bring your kid in with their big wheel and let them ride around for a while you did work.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've worked in a few office buildings. I've never seen that.
No.
Anna Nicole. Why am I going with her full name? Anna runs into the fake. The guy she thought was a boss, but the one who's like embezzling money.
And some people are trying to kill me.
Yeah, and by the way, guys, listeners, Nathan gave that more feeling than she did.
I again, sweet lady, God rest her, shouldn't have died as young as she did, but she shouldn't have acted as early as she did either.
Yeah, I feel like she works in like smaller parts. Like I think her scene in like The Naked Gun is pretty funny.
Yeah.
And you know, stuff like that. But man, you put her as a lead in a movie, especially when you have like, this is a movie made by amateurs. Let's just say it.
And then she's supposed to be some like, she rises to the occasion to become some ass-kicking action hero.
Which I never got, by the way. I never got the sense of that at all. But yeah, she runs into that guy and she's like, yeah, some people are trying to kill me. And he's like, just wait here. I'll totally go get help. Meanwhile, she still has the briefcase and she hides it in like the janitor's trolley cart or whatever.
Yes. Yeah, she chucks it into his bin or whatever.
Meanwhile, she runs off and gets in the elevator and is hit on by some gross dude.
Oh, he is so gross.
With ADR up the.
He's like, hey, baby, you like to be a strong silent type, do you?
Oh, yeah. And he's like, I like your zippers.
Yeah.
Thankfully, though,
I feel like at that point, she was just. They were just like, okay, so Anna, we're gonna give you some free range here. Just tell us some of the things that guys have legitimately said to you, and then just gave that guy the dialogue.
But thankfully, when they get in the elevator, the bad guys find out where she is, and they come in, and she's already escaped, but that dude gets lit the fuck up.
Oh, yeah.
Meanwhile, on the other side of town, Gordy finds the body of the dude that was shot in the restaurant.
Yep.
And is now told that their suspect has been iced as well. What is one to do?
What indeed?
How about having a flashback, which took a left turn that I did not anticipate?
Well, you're talking about her remembering when Gordy taught her how to shoot, right?
Yeah, and I thought that was the end of the flashback.
Which is 100% where it should have ended, because it's like, oh, okay, so no, you hold it just so and squeeze the trigger, don't pull it so you don't get the recoil. Now you give it a try. And she's like, boom, 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 I'm from Texas, y'all. And are like, okay, so she knows how to shoot.
Which, by the way, doesn't factor into the movie. She's as horrible a shot as anyone else.
Yes, because I even have a note that later on it's like, oh, in your flashback, you can take out bottles from like 500 yards, but you can't shoot low rent Stevie Richards in the chest as he's coming towards you down a corridor,
right?
And he's considerably larger than a bottle. But
and
yes,
it's probably because
you're right.
She forgot all about it because of what happens next.
Yes, because it does, as you said, it takes a hard turn. It does not stop where she just remembers, oh, I'm a crack shot from Texas. She apparently has to have an extended remembrance of the time they had sex after they were out shooting guns at the range.
Yep. And there's nothing better than having sex with your pants on.
Yeah, there really isn't. That's the white way to go.
Another great song, too, by the way.
Oh, the white way to go?
Oh, no, the song that plays over the scene.
And the only thing that I was like, okay, did she stop to think about that, got her horned up, and she's like masturbating while remembering having sex with her boyfriend in the field and when they were shooting guns?
Yeah, she's sitting there and she's like, I'm going to need a second.
Just polishing the pearl.
That's what I said. I was like, she has to be like just touching herself right now, right? Because suddenly she's like, hey,
that's what I thought. That's what I figured.
After that, we were fucking. I remember that now.
And I just paused the movie and looked up all of her Playboy pictorials on the internet.
You paused the movie and looked behind you to make sure no one was sitting there still.
She was long gone by then.
The bad guys meet up with, or I guess the guy meets up with the bad guys, the dude who was like embezzling money, and he's like, I could tell you where that blonde bitch is. And they're like, yeah, we'll totally take your advice and let you go in exchange, because Lord knows Fairfax hasn't double-crossed a single person in this movie.
Oh, no. And okay, so they're now on the hunt for Anna Nicole Smith. And they come across a lady who is, tall and blunt from the back, and you think, oh, they found Anna Nicole Smith, and they shoot her, and it's not her, it's poor Billy Ray's mom.
Yeah, and I also thought that she was dead.
Yeah, I did too. For the duration of the movie.
I think that was rewritten at the last second.
Maybe because people were like, adoption doesn't work that way. They knew I'd be watching, and I'd be judging it harshly.
Like, guys, did you see what Nathan did to Mikey? We can't let this happen again.
Yeah, we can't. Let's go back and rewrite it before they, watch it. We're pretty sure they'll watch it eventually, but we don't want to look like jerks.
Yeah, so again,
Skyscraper.
We think that woman is dead. Anna runs into Officer Dudley Wright,
who in reality is actually more reminiscent of a Barney Fife character than a Dudley Wright character.
Yeah.
Right? Because Dudley Wright is, I'll stop him now, and I am so good, and I do not wish to produce any sort of violence. Meanwhile, Barney Fife from Andy of Mayberry is, I got a bullet for you in my pocket. I'll shoot you, I don't care.
I don't know, Andy.
Yeah, my Don Knotts isn't that great. However, my Dudley Wright is spot on.
Well, I worked with Don Knotts. Let me tell you something. I was pretty good, I gotta say.
Wow. Is it true what they say about your penis?
It's let me just say that it rivals your old buddy Mariah.
Wow.
We had many a sword fight back in the day.
That doesn't surprise me in the least, Mr. Stewart.
What are you guys doing over here?
Oh, we're just talking about an Anna Nicole Smith movie. She had boobs almost as big as your boner.
Oh, damn! I think I'm from the wrong era.
Well, yeah, think of her as a Marilyn Monroe that somebody pumped up with a bike pump.
Oh, that sounds like a party I had at Stanley Holloway's house back in the day.
That's doing it for you, Mr. Stewart?
Oh, boy. Well, listen, boys, I just want to say Merry Christmas, Movie House, and I'll see you later.
Are you a fan of the show?
Oh, yeah, what were they thinking?
Oh, that's man, praise from Caesar.
Oh, did I miss anything?
Jimmy Stewart was here.
What?
Yeah.
I picked the worst times to go to the bathroom.
A really good guy. Told me he has a dongs that is second only to Mariah's.
Oh, wow. Let's see a little proof of that.
Well, that's what's second. He didn't say it was better.
Yeah. Okay.
That makes
a distant second, maybe.
Probably. I would say that goes without really saying. Actually,
I only have one leg. Oh, shit.
All right.
Okay. Well, maybe he's got a point. So
a large one by the sounds of it.
Skyscraper.
Skyscraper.
What the fuck is going on? Dudley Wright.
Barney Fife.
Barney Fife. Dudley Wright. Whatever his name is. He meets up with Anna Nicole Smith, and he thinks that she's a villain, but she easily takes his gun away.
Oh yeah. And this is where my my argument for him being more Fifeian than Dudley Wright kind of fits in, because Barney Fife's the kind of guy who would be able to have his gun taken away by Anna Nicole Smith.
Yeah, exactly. And there's more shooting directly at someone, but missing every time here, because that dude comes down. And again, like we said earlier, why establish that Anna Nicole Smith knows how to use a gun if she just is terrible at shooting it like everyone else?
Yep.
You'd think that would lead to something, but you'd be wrong. But Dudley actually saves the day and ends up shooting the bad guy, and he's like, I did it.
Yeah, I was 100% expecting him to get immediately capped when he did that.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised he made it through.
Yeah.
But Anna is looking for a way out, while Gordy has made his way to the building. Anna finds the kid and basically tells him, don't worry, your mama's gonna be fine. And I'm like, don't lie to that child, because at this point, I was like, that mom is dead zone.
Well, because not only they shot her center mass, she fell forward and did not move afterwards.
Yeah.
By
the way, the kid has a dog, which I don't think he had earlier.
Yeah, that was really okay. So first of all, it has to be a Saturday because I can't see a single supervisor or team lead or department manager letting you bring your kid in with their big wheel and their new puppy to just ride around the place and deposit poops.
And I'm almost certain that dog is probably just the kid's real dog.
Probably. It's Anna Nicole's real kid, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so he was like, "Man, can my new dog and be in the movie?" "No, sure you can, sweetheart. I'm the one who's the next executive producer."
Is that how that conversation went?
Probably exactly like that.
Wow, you had fucking surveillance in the room.
Well, you know, I used to keep up with the cult of personality for the longest time.
So Gordy,
I was deprogrammed, like, you know, in the early 2000s.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, that's good. You don't have like a trigger word or anything, do you?
No.
Okay, well, that's good. So Gordy is engaging in some cat and mouse with, I guess we'll call them dreadlocks, and another ridiculous gunfight. Just firing.
Oh, make sure you don't count bullets at all in this movie.
God.
It is a huge perpetrator of the endless clip. I don't think I saw people change their magazines once in this entire movie.
And, you know, you have a star in the movie that knows all about magazines, so there's no excuse.
Good one.
Zing. Fairfax makes it known that he's going to kill a hostage every 5 minutes until he gets his briefcase back, which is nothing like Die Hard. That doesn't happen in that movie at all.
No, I know, right?
And finally, Anna Nicole Smith. Why do I keep wanting to say her full name? She calls up the tech guy.
Because how can you not?
Yeah, I know, right? I feel right just saying Anna.
Right? Because then it sounds like you're talking about that other ridiculous movie.
Oh, Anna?
Yeah.
That movie is bananas.
Anna Bananas, that's right.
Coming soon. Anna calls up the tech guy and basically says, you know, I'll turn myself in and give up the case if you get rid of the hostages. Well, where are you? Somewhere hot. And lights a garbage can fire? Which
she just starts a fire.
Don't really understand why she did that.
Here's why, okay? And this is, I think, one of the things that really kind of I found quite perplexing about this movie is that it's supposed to be this newly designed, high-tech, business skyscraper. It's a high-rise at best. And they don't put cameras in a lot of places. They put just heat sensors, and they track people with their badge IDs. So you don't actually see what's happening. You just see a blue blip.
Yeah.
Right? The only time they have surveillance cameras is when it furthers the purpose of the plot, I guess.
Plot.
Because there's yeah, exactly, Brent. There's several times in the movie where it's like, oh, well, how come they don't have cameras in the stairwells? They just show this blue ball going around and around in circles because it's going upstairs.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, so why can't they just cut to the camera to see what's going on there? Because, I mean, I know it's 1996, but closed-circuit cameras were a thing long before that. And the only time they have, cameras, like I said, is when they needed to further the plot, or as Brent would say, plot. Exactly. So this blue thing, the reason why she lit a fire was so that she could it would just be heat signatures all over the place, so they wouldn't be able to see exactly where she was. Although I don't entirely understand how she knows about the blue dot heat signature thing, because she's a helicopter pilot who doesn't work for ZX.
I'm assuming it's the same way she knows about Henry IV. Must be.
She read it in Architectural Digest.
There you go.
Yeah, solved.
Yeah. She sets up the garbage can fire, and then she is captured by Fairfax.
Mm-hmm.
Unsurprisingly, Fairfax, and brace yourself for this one, ends up turning on the dude who brought her in.
Yes.
And shoots him.
Yep.
And then quickly says, I'm going to kill a hostage unless you tell me where the briefcase is. And she doesn't, so he just straight up murders her, or he has the girl murder a hostage. She has Linda Hamilton do it. Meanwhile, there starts to be some some cops surrounding the building and some SWAT teams and firemen.
Yes,
which I don't.
So much so that the tech guy, when he sees this, is like "Zut, merde," like just making all the cliched words that are supposed to be French swear words that are just literal translations.
Yeah, I don't understand. But I don't understand what the firefighters' plan was there.
Right?
Like, they just kind of had the ladder aimed at a window that was closed, and they were just kind of hanging out.
And here's the thing: if you've got a firefighters coming to rescue people from your fire, and they can almost reach the top of the building with their ladder. Oh, and you can see that a building right next to the building that you're shooting in is taller than the building you're in. You do not get to call your movie Skyscraper.
It's not even like a 9 Lives level skyscraper.
Right?
Yeah.
The one in Chicago is definitely bigger.
But of course, the firemen are terrifying, so they take them out with another rocket launcher.
Mm-hmm.
Engulfed in flames again. More poor stuntmen on fire.
Yes.
And then the guy who apparently designed the security system shows up, and he's all like, "Whoa, it's locked from the inside." And the officer goes, "What does that mean?" He's like, "Well, basically, you're fucked."
Yeah.
He says something about like how he set it up for like, or he got like South Africans to design it or something.
Yeah, because it was supposed to survive like not only seismic activity but like a full scale military assault. I'm like, go fuck yourself. Like, okay, Anna Nicole Smith was able to bust through one of the windows using her swing force and her feet. Okay, this building is not designed to withstand a military assault, because I think the military assaults would include rappelling down the side of a building and kicking through windows.
She's got those helicopter shoes.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Is this the point of the movie where the terrorists from Right Said Fred, or at least one of them, turns into Rape Said Fred?
Yeah, that was upsetting.
That was quite upsetting.
Yeah,
and it was almost like they're like, "Yep, this is the sort of thing that happens. This is what's going to happen, and we're not going to make that big a deal out of it."
They really don't, because
no,
it
was barely menacing.
It's just
barely
an excuse to have her boobs out again.
And
but
kick a little bit of ass.
Yeah, but in a way that I was not really enjoying it.
No.
Because he's like, I guess he's like dry humping her, and then she just.
I hope it is.
I mean, his pants stay on.
But so did her husband's in Texas when they were shooting guns.
That's true. Hmm? She also like, man, she doesn't really react.
No,
which makes it, I think, even worse. But she grabs a knife and like stabs him in the leg. And then, she has a moment where he goes, "What are you going to do? Go ahead. You shoot me. Fuck you." And she goes, "Yeah, well, fuck this."
To which I noted, "Fuck her, fuck off."
Yeah, it was pretty close. If you're going to steal, you steal from the best.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, he goes flying out the window, by the way. And I think that's the moment you talked about where.
Yeah, I really hope that's not a hostage.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Fairfax, who was on the horn with the cops while all this is going on, plays it up like that was one of the hostages. And that face that he makes when he is just losing it at the cops takes all menace and credibility away from him.
Oh, it's such a great, like when he's doing his like evil laugh
like,
or whatever.
"Don't fuck with me."
If you attempt to rescue or display any form of aggression against us, we will throw another hostage to his death. The people's liberation will not be intimidated by bureaucratic arm twisting. So what I want to say, Captain, is don't fuck with me.
And he's got like this weird, like his mouth is like a Napoleon Dynamite sneer, but with a little bit of Elvis lip thrown in.
And I mean, he's got the Paul Scheer gap too.
Yes.
So I mean, nothing about him is really that scary until he just starts shooting people.
Right. It was really kind of cool to see the guy that she threw out the window deliver a Macho Man elbow to the car that he landed on.
His movie is like surprisingly pretty bloody.
I hope he like smacked the elbow just before he hit the car.
Of course, and I'm pretty sure before that he delivered a flying axe handle.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, Gordy manages to kill Dreadlocks dude.
He does.
Tech guy is like sitting there while these SWAT people are crawling around the air vent, and the fucking guys leave their radio on.
And at this point, I was really hoping that the folks who wrote Die Hard got a good chunk of any proceeds, because when they start crawling around the ductwork, I'm like, they are just cribbing directly from it's shameless the way they do it.
Come in, stop a few terrorists.
Love a blast.
But yeah, he hears the radio, so Tech guy fucking kills one of them, and then has this lame shootout with the other two, and he just kills the SWAT guy. So that scene is completely pointless.
Yep.
Because they accomplish nothing. They are still trying to find that briefcase, goddammit, and they interrogate the cleaner dude, and they're like, you have the briefcase. We're looking for a silver briefcase. He's like, no, this briefcase is black, guys. This isn't your briefcase. They're like, whatever, this is it. And I'm like, what the fuck was that conversation? And then the cleaner dude's like, looks at Fairfax like, what are you, East Side dude? What? And he gets choked to death with his towel. Because again, anybody Fairfax talks to, he tries to kill.
Yes, he can't live up to any promise that he makes, so he just murders everybody he makes a promise to.
That's a real issue. He should talk to his therapist about that.
Well, he promised to, but then killed the therapist.
No.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
If he had watched The Sopranos, he would have known you don't have to kill your therapist. They can be very useful.
Right?
Yeah. God, what was he thinking?
That's the end of the episode. Thanks, folks.
Oh, we got a little bit more. Gordy makes his way into the makes his way through the building some more, and he fights with one of the bad dudes. And Anna manages to save him by shooting him in the back.
Okay, she also killed Gordy.
Oh,
there's just no two ways around it. Okay, yeah, I know he lives through this and he survives the end, and we see him at the end of the movie being happy with Anna Nicole Smith, but in reality, she killed him.
Oh, because they were so close together?
Yes, the force of that bullet went through that guy and into Gordy. There's no two ways around it.
Oh, that'd be great. Such a great moment if that happened.
She thought she won and realized she killed her own husband.
She killed both of them. She's like, well, fuck. Now how am I going to have a baby?
Come here, Billy Ray.
You're my baby now.
I lied to you. Your mama's not fine at all.
Yeah, but she's totally breathing over there. What are you talking about? It takes a real left turn.
Yeah.
And then, of course, again, it's to the point of, like, comedy because Fairfax then kills the tech guy.
And does he call him, like, pool shark or something?
Yeah, and then he's like, alas, poor Yurik.
Oh, poor Yurik.
Yeah. And he just
sounded like pool shark.
I think he does say pool shark.
Oh, okay.
I think he says that first, and then he quotes Shakespeare and kills him, and I'm like, okay. I guess. I don't know why you turned on your probably most loyal guy, but he does keep rocket launcher lady around.
He promised that he would always be there for him, so then he had to shoot him because he promised him.
He did.
Something. But yeah, the rocket lady is still around, and Anna Nicole Smith does the only smart thing in this entire movie when she happens upon them, and she kind of got the drop on her, and she's like, she tells her to let them go, and the lady's like, "You're just gonna have to shoot me in the," and she shoots her in the back, just kills her.
That already puts her. I'm just gonna say it. That already puts her a step above Patrick Swayze in most movies.
Yes, because I was like, God, good for her. All right, well, hey, something smart did happen in this movie.
Better than Postal.
Way better. Way better than Postal.
But yeah, she kills. Yeah, she kills. That's the Rocket Girl, right? That she kills.
Yes.
Yeah, and then she literally just has a line where she's like, "All right, does anybody know how to disable the computer system?" To the hostages.
And then one lady's like, "I know how to do it."
Yeah,
and then
like, who's this lady?
Yeah, and then she takes her to what appeared to be the control room from the episode of Mystery Science Theater, Riding with Death, which was in reality a chopped up 2 episodes of an ABC television show. Either way,
you know what? If you told me that this was a chopped up 2 episodes, I would believe you.
Yeah, because the sets look so cheap.
Yeah. I think Dudley helps this woman too, and I actually thought, I was like, oh, is he gonna have is this gonna end up being like his girlfriend or something?
I took all kinds of different notes with him. It was like Dudley Wright. He's Barney Fife. He is not Peter Scolari. I was all over the place with.
He's about as intimidating as Peter Scolari in Ticks, though.
Yeah, well, he's about as intimidating as Peter Scolari playing Barney Fife.
Yeah,
there you go.
Cast that movie, make it happen.
Yeah, I'd watch it. But you're gonna get to be Andy though.
Andy.
Javier Bardem.
There we go.
As Andy of Mayberry.
I run this town. Call it. What? What are you saying, Andy? Call it. Well, what are we playing? What are we playing for? Doesn't matter. Just call it. Oh, I'm in. I love how the idea is that Javier Bardem can only play the role like that one character
Anton
he's
Chigurh,
done.
Yeah,
that's the only acting he's ever done.
He can't be the Bond villain that he played.
He can't be the loving husband and mother. He can't.
No, he has to be Chigurh.
Yeah. Oh, Skyscraper. So the hostages, they do manage to shut down the system. Mm-hmm. The hostages run out of the building, and by run out of the building, I mean the extras shuffle out looking quite bored.
Kind of saunter out,
Yeah.
Well, it's their Saturday. You don't run around on a Saturday.
Fairfax manages to find the kid and Anna, and he basically he's on the roof. Gordy's on the roof, and he threatens to take both of them.
Oh, yeah, but you remember how you said that Anna Nicole Smith was at least smarter than Patrick Swayze in this movie?
Yeah.
He is as dumb as Patrick Swayze in this movie because he gives up his position.
Oh.
In the helicopter shootout section.
Oh, by just shooting Gordy?
No, he kind of comes out and is like, "Hey!" Like, why did you do that? You could have had the drop on him. He didn't know you were there.
But he agrees to let the kid go because he's like, I would rather play with you, to Anna Nicole Smith. And then he shoots Gordy with hilarious dialogue. Mm-hmm. And then Anna Nicole Smith manages to kick the gun out of his hand and kung fu the fuck out of him.
Oh yeah, she becomes like a boobtacular ninja.
Where did that come from?
Well, she did it earlier in the movie too, but it wasn't as pronounced as it was here.
I mean, this final fight is Fairfax gets his ass kicked. He doesn't get a single shot in.
Nope.
And then he literally gets kicked off the building onto the ground to his death.
Hans Gruber style.
Yeah, but nothing like Die Hard, right?
Nothing at all. No.
Because
that was a skyscraper. This was a high rise at best.
When they get to the when they get to the ground, Anna tells the kid his mama is waiting in the ambulance, and I was like, is she sending him in to see his mother's corpse? What the fuck?
And then for some reason the paramedics are like, all right, you guys pile into the ambulance too.
Yeah, you guys are all related now.
And no softcore stuff in front of the kids.
look away, child. Yeah, I just
can't.
thought that
Her boobs are everywhere.
it was mostly too because when I saw the woman get loaded into the ambulance, that was like the kid's mom. I thought her face was covered, and I was like, Anna Nicole Smith, what are you doing?
Yeah, and like you said, they don't end up adopting the kid because adoption doesn't work that way.
No, because this movie's got more sense than that.
Well, at least they did manage to avoid that pitfall, because I was waiting for that ending.
And that's the ending.
That is the ending. Yep.
They get into the ambulance, and then she does say to Gordy too. She says, "See, you think I shouldn't have little babies."
Yeah, it all comes back because that's all in one apparently.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah.
Credits. So Nathan.
Yeah.
1996 Skyscraper. What do you think? Mm-hmm. People should check this out.
No. Watch Skyscraper with The Rock.
Okay.
Or Die Hard.
With The Rock, which is called Skyscraper.
Right.
I'm on the fence because it's pretty campy, and like there are parts that made me laugh because it's so stupid. This movie's terrible, don't get me wrong, but I'm gonna give it a creaky hand.
I didn't even know it existed until Jason inflicted it upon us.
Yeah. I just think I was laughing pretty hard at some of the stuff, so I will say a few. It's probably a good movie to have a few people over and watch and get drunk.
Okay.
I'll give it that. But I think we're going to take a brief break, and we'll be right back.
Okay.
What were they thinking?
What Were They Thinking is brought to you by HostGator. HostGator is a leading provider of shared, reseller, VPS, and dedicated hosting solutions. Award-winning support is available 24/7, 365 days a year via phone, email, and live chat. Discover why over 9 million websites trust HostGator. Use the coupon code SCHLUCK for 25% off your first purchase. That's SCHLUCK, SCHLOCK, for 25% off your first purchase.
What Were They Thinking is brought to you today by GameItAll.com. Whether it's video game news, the latest in music, or movie reviews, GameItAll.com is your one-stop shop for all nerdy talk.
What were they thinking?
And we're back!
We are!
Oh. What happened?
I don't know. Switched on over to Barry White. Oh.
My darling, I
can't get enough of your way. I don't know why.
Oh no.
Can't get enough of your love, babe.
Barry White's lawyer is on the other line.
Oh. Is his estate the litigious type?
He's called 6 times already. Well, while we move on to the low haiku portion of the podcast.
Okay.
Nathan.
Yes, Brandon.
What is the low haiku?
Well, the low haiku is 17 syllables to describe the movie Skyscraper, or whatever movie it is that we're talking about that week.
Right. So I guess I'll start us off this time.
Okay.
Anna Nicole's boobs. Stormtrooper gun aiming skills. Anna Nicole's boobs.
Round and to the point.
I wanted to focus on the positives.
Yes, and there's a couple of positive things about this movie. Anna Nicole flick. Softcore porn, flashbacks and all. One smart thing was done.
Very good, very good.
Yes, Gauss. Yes, I know. It wasn't Kathy Ireland, but what can you do?
Gauss is a little let down. He thought that she was going to be in this film.
Like maybe we'll do Alien from LA someday.
I'm sure it'll happen.
Ow. Jeez, it sounded like it hurt coming out that time.
Jesus. Well, we're out of there. And it's time for our next segment.
Yes.
That's how we that's
Hell of a segue.
Thank you.
All right, that segment is now done. We will begin the next segment.
Nathan.
Segment commences now.
Commencing segment.
And go.
Don't take a word for us.
That's right. The segment is called Don't Take Our Word for It.
Yes, although you might have to.
Yeah, it's a little sparse.
Yeah, we've got one written critic review.
But we have an NA from the critics overall because there's one.
Ensure that you there is no not yet available as far as the tomato meter goes, so stay tuned for future critiques, I guess. But our good friend, I'm going to give you the one we got here, our good friend Felix Vasquez Jr. from Cinema Craze. We've had his reviews on several times before, so he's the one true stalwart. Even old Hanky wasn't on this one, but he writes, Smith, in her overweight glory, is constantly confused even when standing silently on camera. I will agree with the second part, but she was curvaceously great.
Also, the shaming was a bit unnecessary.
A little bit, Felix. Be better. Be better.
Lots of other things to make fun of.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for the critics. Let's get into the audience reviews.
And apparently, there are all kinds of audience reviews, but there's no featured audience reviews. I have to click an extra button. What is this? Mexico?
Or Russia.
Okay.
It could be.
Could be.
But, I'll start us off. Ben D.
Straw.
Yeah. Yep.
Ben D. Straw.
That's his full name. Gives it 5 stars.
Okay.
He says, simply, I watched this movie so many times when I was a kid.
See, I'm not the only bad parent out there. Let's see. We got someone who refused to leave their name, even though they weren't kind to the movie.
Ooh.
2.5 stars. They write, a big boobed budget Die Hard. Anna Nicole Smith and her cop boyfriend, husband, bouncingly battle some brilliantly bad baddies in semi-sensational shootout action sequences.
Wow.
Oh, he said boyfriend so they could get the alliteration. I get it. Didn't really offer much of a critique, though, because he just basically said what happened and gave it 2.5 stars.
I think he was just really happy with what he did there.
Okay.
I think he just was really in love with his own alliteration.
Yeah, that's a possibility. I know folk who were like that.
Bruno V. Oh, shit. Is this Bruce Willis under his alter ego?
Bruno Willis!
He does give it 1 star. So, I mean... Bruno Willis. That's great. Yes. That's what it is. Holy shit. He says... Okay, this doesn't make a lot of sense. You can love it because it's so bad you can smile with this. Where do they find those ugly blow-up guys to play the bad boys? One boob from Anna is the same size of the head of a bad guy. The sex scenes are awful. The way they are having sex, I think the boyfriend must have a willy about 50 centimeters long.
SOM DVD?
Yeah. So there you go, Bruno. Bruce
About.
Willis in a drunken rage just posting on Rotten Tomatoes reviews on movies that are sort of like Die Hard.
I got one here from Sean W. I assume that's Waltman. Billed as being in the tradition of Die Hard, translation, we ripped off the plot, Anna Nicole Smith really had no acting ability, although she aces the shower scene. Comic relief provided by the architect of Skyscraper.
Was he supposed to be funny?
I guess. 2.5 stars.
I mean, he says, you guys are fucked, and I guess it's funny because he used to swear.
That's right.
Swears are pretty funny. Scott R. simply says, one of the worst movies I've ever seen. 5 stars.
Brilliant. Paul D. I'm assuming the D stands for dangerously.
Oh, obviously.
Yeah. His middle initial, I'll say middle initial E. Paul E. dangerously.
I thought you meant he like. Wow, I went a different route with that. I was thinking he was related to
Michael
Johnny.
Keaton. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Wait a second. Is Paulie Dangerously Johnny Dangerously's brother?
Okay. Well, I would figure Paulie Dangerously would have to be like his grandson or something, because Johnny Dangerously was set in the 40s, wasn't it?
Oh, right.
Anyways, Paulie Dangerously writes, "Poor diehard clone with much worse acting. 1.5 stars."
Yeah, he's not wrong, Paulie.
No.
It gives me idea for SmackDown storyline. ... Nazir B gives it 4.5 stars. A helicopter charter soon turns deadly when the female pilot finds that she is on a building held by terrorists. It is up to her and her husband to save the hostages. The girl, Nicole Smith, is really unattractive and sexy. There are 3 naked scenes of her. She got really opened eyes. Figures she can make anyone crazy. Ah ha 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 ha.
I think we're dealing with a cry for help here.
I think he was jerking off at the end of that.
Possibly. Mr. D, I'm assuming from the CBC sitcom Mr. D, which means Jerry D, writes, "The parts where Anna Nicole Smith flies the copter don't look realistic. They just show the same shot of her hand, and I think I even saw the real pilot to the right when she was flying with her boyfriend. Add acting some silly characters. But, well, it has some TNA. 2 stars.
Wow, a whole 2 stars for TNA.
Huh? 1 for the T and 1 for the
A. This is from someone who I think is a little bit confused. It's from a private user. They don't really have a username here. 2.5 stars. Simply says, Shannon Tweed fights terrorists.
What? No, not Shannon Tweed.
Not anything like Shannon Tweed.
No. Andrew K, I'm assuming middle initial W.
Yeah, he likes to party.
Yep. But he does not like this movie because he writes, "Hey, it's Anna Nicole Smith before she was dead and ugly, but it's not worth seeing. 1.5 star."
Jesus.
Yeah, right.
Wait, is he saying that she was ugly because she was dead? Like,
I'm guessing that's what he's getting at.
I mean, Andrew, we all get ugly when we die. It's just a fact of life, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. Well, that's, I guess that'll do it.
Yeah, that'll probably do it.
Yeah.
No, I think that's good.
So next week, we are going to continue Listener's Choice Month. We are going to talk about a film called The Dentist.
So we're doing 2 direct-to-video ones, eh?
Yeah, I might have fucked up. But hey, it's got Corbin Bernsen and dentistry.
Not much else.
Yeah. Yeah. I've never seen it. I'm sure it's probably terrible, but we'll talk about it.
It's a horror movie, so I'm sure I'll have at least some fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same year too, 1996. So there you go.
Oh, so we'll get to compare the years, I guess?
Sure. Well, that's what we do on the show, right?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I'm sure we'll make many references to it being in the same universe as we do. So that'll be next week.
I'm pretty sure it's probably in the same universe as Major League.
I hope so.
That's also a Corbin Bernsen movie.
I want to see Charlie Sheen show up as one of the patients, baby.
The only other movie I could think of it being in the same universe as is Tales from the Hood.
I was thinking,
like I just killed Brendan.
I was thinking that movie he directed, Christian Mingle.
Corbin Bernsen directed that?
Yes, sir.
Oh dear.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We all need work, Nathan. We all need work. But until then,
I'll be your dentist.
Oh, I think.
Sorry.
Is Montrose Monkington available?
Yes, he is.
Like, is he seeing anyone?
Malco. If you watch any of the videos, although there is,
no, it's fine.
There's kind of a tristy love triangle going on between him and Mariel Hunter. So
it's too much for me. Just have him come in and do his thing.
Yeah, you certainly don't want to get involved in that whole thing. No. So, I'll get him. Yep. Stop singing that song from Little Shop of Horrors and spreading my personal business about. Stop you smell. Go take a bath. Hello! It's your good friend Montrose Monkington III here. I'd just like to invite all of you to come enjoy my wholesome videos on YouTube, my channel Montrose Monkington TV. There are videos on there of me and the aforementioned people. However, come for the salaciousness, stay for the insight. That's what I always say. And if you are so inclined, you can also be friends with me on Facebook at the group Montrose Monkington III Esquire and Friends. And you can also tweet at me on the Twitter blocks at Montrose III. That's the number 3RD. Thank you. Mind your business.
Wow, he was really taking you to task there, Nathan.
Well, I mean, he's British, so they don't like their business being kind of put about for the world to see, I guess. And it's my fault, really, when you get right down to it.
All right, well, I'm glad you're taking some responsibility.
Well, as you get older, right?
But now we go to the next segment.
And what segment might that be? Start now.
Plugs.
Segment beginning in 5, 4, 3, 2, and segment is go.
You can find us on all the podcatchers. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at WWTT Podcast. You can find us on Facebook. Just search for What Were They Thinking, and we are there. I promise. I guarantee you, by the fire of 1,000 suns, we are there. We are on patreon.com/WWTT Podcast. You can sign up there today and get some cool stuff. And if you sign up right now as a Patreon, you're automatically going to get a pick. You can pick a movie for a future episode of the show.
Or your nose. That's cool, too.
Yeah, do whatever. We're not going to tell you what to do.
Right. That's not our gig.
But this is a promotion that's going to go for a while. For anybody new to our Patreon, I'm not sure when I'm going to end it, but hey, it's still going, so take advantage. And yeah, I think that's it. I think that wraps it up. Nathan, you do look like a little bit inquisitive.
Well, I mean, it's it kind of goes without saying in regards to a movie like this that a person would have a few questions when everything was all said and done.
Sure.
So I'll try. Okay, so in a movie where they're clearly ripping off Die Hard.
Yeah.
And with a movie where they couldn't get Kathy Ireland, who might have fit the role of an action heroine a little bit better.
Sure.
In a movie where they could have actually easily gotten Linda Hamilton's twin sister, which would have even been more believable. But no, they got Anna Nicole Smith. In a movie where the main baddie is a German politician that sounds like, his entire posse sound like Tommy from The Room. And in a movie where the international terrorists lack all the subtlety and charm of a Hans Gruber, I really have to know.
Aim for the moon, brother.
In regards to casting her own kid, who she doesn't even adopt at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
What were they thinking?
Don't leave me hanging. I've retraced, I've gone back. I shouldn't be stronger than that. But you know, it's just not easy. Everything's fine. He is still mine. All in time. Everything's fine. He is still mine, all in time.
But let's check our cue, baby. Pair it with a couple brews, baby. We love good movies. We love the bad ones too. So we watch them all and pass their lessons on to you. Oh yeah. Everything I learned from movies helps to make life a little bit groovy. Whether one last plot holes or gratuitous movies, it's time to get busy with your friend Steve and Izzy at eilfm.podbean.com.